Welcome to Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson. This is where ideas spark, connections grow, and collaborations fuse success. Tune in for inspiring stories, expert insights, and game-changing conversations. Let's build, connect, and thrive together. Remember, collaboration is the key to success. This episode is proudly sponsored by W.D. Pearson Associates, where we educate, empower, and consult individuals, families, and entrepreneurs through coaching, business consulting, Legal Shield, ID Shield, and personal development services. W.D. Pearson Associates is committed to helping people rebuild their lives, protect their future, grow their confidence, and walk boldly in purpose, both personally and professionally.
Welcome to the Ready, Set, Collaborate podcast with Wanda Pearson, where collaboration is the key to success. I'm your host, Wanda Pearson, and today's episode is truly inspiring. I am so excited that we are joined by incredible Cheris Monique, founder of Rebuild Your Life brand, journal, and planner, as well as the owner of Jumping Jacks Learning Center. Oh, I love that. Her journey from modeling and construction work, wow, to entrepreneurship, media, and empowerment has fueled her passion for helping others rebuild, transform, and rediscover themselves. Through her platform, Stilettos, Steel toes to stilettos.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, I'll tell you because it looks like the same here. Cherise highlights stories of resilience, confidence, healing, and transformation, showing people that no matter where they start, they have the power to rebuild their lives with purpose. This conversation is going to encourage anyone who's ever had to start over, overcome challenges, or rediscover their confidence. Let's welcome Cheris Monique. Yay!
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me on the Ready, Set, Collab podcast. I'm so happy to be here with Miss Wanda.
Yes, I am too. I am excited that you joined us. We have so much to talk about here, and I tell you, the time is it's gonna fly by. But we're gonna make sure that we get all your information in here.
And if it flies by, then you just got to have me back again for a part two.
Oh, absolutely.
Clear.
We'll have you back. Girl, we got to keep you updated.
Yeah, yes. I keep y'all updated.
Absolutely. I would love that. Let me read your bio real quick. I think I probably already said some information in there already. So Cheris Monique is a licensed social worker, certified family life educator, confidence coach, entrepreneur, and transformational speaker dedicated to helping others rebuild their lives with confidence and purpose. Her journey from modeling, construction work to business ownership, media, and inspired her passion, purpose, and platform. Steel toes to stilettos, where she highlights stories of resilience and transformation. Cheris is also the founder of Rebuild Your Life brand, journal, and planner, and the owner of Jumping Jacks Learning Center. I think I mentioned that too, but I wanted to say that again. So
thank you.
Welcome. And actually, I love the title, The Art of Rebuilding and Transformation. That's about what I do anyway. With my forgiveness, transforming our life and healing. And that's probably why Inga said, I got a girl for you. Inga Nicole. She said, I got a girl for you.
Yep.
So.
Yes. She's seen the similarity, the common denominators in there and hooked us up.
Yes, she did. Definitely gonna have you back on here because I know this is gonna go real fast. So let's get into some of these questions because I want to know more about you as well.
Okay.
What inspired the transition from construction work to becoming a licensed social worker, entrepreneur, and podcast host?
Miss Wanda, I was a social worker before I entered into the construction field, right? And what happened was, I naturally like to help people. It's my genuine passion, purpose to help people. So that's why I just went into the human service field to begin with. Never even really considering college because I didn't even like school. But as I got older and more mature and having a kid at a young age, I'm like, girl, you got something because you got to get out here and pay these bills. I went to school for human service, and that's when I entered into the social work field. And then after being in the social work field for a period of time, I realized that being in the social work field at the entry level, because I didn't necessarily have my degree yet, and even with my degree, I realized that even with a bachelor's degree in quote unquote human service or social work, that was not financially desirable, right? So I'm seeing what I had to do in that field to really make the money that I needed or wanted to make. And that required me going back to school, getting more certifications, more degrees, going up the ladder. which I really had no problem with. But in the interim of things, because of my network and my community, I entered into the construction field because it was available. It was a resource. And I had no problem with it. Even though I'm a girl, I went into this male dominated field because that was financially desirable. The money that I was able to make in the construction field basically gave me the financial freedom. It gave me the financial freedom to go and explore my other dreams and goals that I had put on the back burner because I did become a young mother, a teenage mother. And this and that in itself just changed the whole trajectory of my life, the plan. So I had to do things different once I became a mom. So now it was about survival of the fittest. So I went from social work, and social work is me. That's just me, period. But I was in social work, so I wouldn't say the corporate, but I was in that field, in that industry. And then I went to construction. And
I
then,
love that. Yeah, because we do have a lot of life. Because when
Mhm.
I went into social work, it wasn't enough money to survive on. So that's when I actually ended up going to IBM.
Yeah, and I tell young children, young teenagers, youth this all the time. Listen, do not be afraid you don't have to go to college. We were told that when I was young, college is the way to go. That's the American dream. It's not. Don't be afraid to step outside the box and do something different. Go find a trade that you like, that you feel like you can have potential in and build and expand and find a career, because that's what I did. And I made that social work salary. I made that in 4 months in construction. This work of 4 months of construction, I made my whole year's salary. And I was like, you think I'm going to go back to that? But it was a sacrifice, though. It was a sacrifice because I worked long days and long hours in construction. I worked 6, 7 days a week, and I worked 10, 12-hour days. And I had to face the elements of the weather, extremely cold, extremely hot, standing on your feet all day, working in the mill dominated field. It was a lot that came with it, but it was a sacrifice. Like I said, you were in survival mode. When you have children, you know what you got to do. When you got bills to pay, you got people to take care of, and when you got dreams and goals, then you keep your mind on the money.
That's amazing what you said because actually my grandson, he was in college and in North Carolina, and he said, Nana, I got in a little trouble. He said, Nana, he went into trade school, HVAC. He always wanted to go into HVAC. He said, I'm telling the kids that's in high school, they
Mhm.
really have to go to college because HVAC is actually something that he hands on, that he loves doing. So he's excited about it. So I see exactly why what you're saying there. So girl, we
And you
got
don't got to worry about that college debt,
yeah,
no
oh
college
yeah.
debt and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Because my daughter, she got a lot of college debt. His
Yeah.
mother, his mother. Debt. But what inspired you to create the Rebuild Your Life brand?
Once I created, so I wanted to turn my lifestyle into a business because it became a point in time after realizing the opportunities that were out there now, especially with social media and content creation and being a creator and things like that, I felt as though I wanted to turn my brain into a lifestyle. But before I created the Rebuild Your Life brand, which is an empowerment tool, an empowerment brand, a business to empower the masses. And it doesn't necessarily have to be for women, but it is like women empowerment. But it's for anybody. Anybody can be empowered through my tools, strategies, and techniques. But before I did that, I had a program for girls. I had a youth empowerment program for girls, and it was entitled RAN Role Model Society. And the acronym was Refrain, Abstain, and Maintain. And what I did was I started this program in 2011, and I started this program because I really wanted to model. That was another part of my whole life journey. I wanted to be a model. I was supposed to be like in Paris or runways. And then from making all this money modeling, I was supposed to come back and start this program for kids, right? But instead of modeling and staying focused on that, I became a teenage mom, and we already mentioned that. So with that being said, modeling was out the door because you cannot just get up and go to New York and go to these auditions, because that's what I was doing before even when I had children, I was back and forth on the turnpike. I left the state, working for the state of Delaware, a social work position, to pursue my modeling career because I was always taking off to go to New York, to go to auditions, to do jobs. I've been on TV. I've been in music videos. I have been around superstars. I've been around celebrities. I've been around actresses. And in hindsight, that was this song. It doesn't matter where you come from. Do not let your circumstances dictate your destiny because I was on soap operas and I'm like, me. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. We don't have those type of opportunities here where I'm from. So fast forward, I had children. Couldn't model no more. I had to go to work. I had to go to college. I had to find something more stable, more solid because I got to take care of these kids. Boom, I did that. Then I got into construction. But all the while, I also started an empowerment program for girls. That's how the Rebuild Your Life brand really came about for real because I started working with girls first. And I started teaching them how to model. And the mission and the vision of that was just to teach them how to build esteem and confidence. But I was doing that through something that I had a purpose and passion in, and that was modeling. So I started this modeling program and we did a lot of workshops, life skills, survival skills. But then we also did photo shoots. We traveled back and forth to New York, to New Jersey. I had the girls in all type of fashion shows. And I just wanted them to know. I just wanted them to have something that I didn't have when I was a teenager, when I was growing up. And I'm like, listen, you guys, you girls do not have to want to be a model. It's all about the confidence. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to give you the practices and the tools to build your confidence. So it doesn't matter what you want to do in life. You're going to have the confidence to do it. And that was the segue to Rebuild Your Life. I did that since 2011. I started that program. And I've been doing it ever since. And then I transformed it into adults, females, women. And that's how it first was I Am Cheris Monique. And from I Am Cheris Monique, all these other umbrella type of brands came about under the I Am Cheris Monique brand. And that's how the Rebuild Your Life brand came about. And it started as something that I wanted to do and build a community, build a more, a community around turning my lifestyle into the brand. And the lifestyle was I Am Cheris Monique. And the Rebuild Your Life brand, I came out with a journal, the Rebuild Your Life
Okay.
planner. This is a planner. This is a coaching
Awesome.
planner. And then I have a journal as well. And the
Okay.
reason why I came out with these two tools is because how I got to each level of my life was writing things down. I have so many journals and notebooks that I just write. They're all right here. I have these. I have notebooks everywhere because I write everything down. Sometimes I forget which notebook it's in, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what did I write it in? But
That's awesome. That's
that's how
awesome.
it literally came about. Rebuild Your Life brand. It's coaching journals, techniques, and it's all what I did. And it's not no fluff. It ain't no BS. It's real life.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm glad you shared that. Now let's talk about confidence building and identity transformation. So confidence can be difficult after life changes, right? What helped you rebuild your confidence after you got into doing what you're doing? And then also helping the girls. That's what identity transformation that you help these girls do, right? Transforming their
Yes.
life.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I really believe that this is my passion. This is my purpose. So God, it was already instilled in me. It's already been instilled in me since I was born. And sometimes that's why I gotta ask myself, like, girl, how did you get like this? Like, how did you
Okay.
get like this?
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I do not feel confident at times or I haven't felt fully like I'm that girl or I'm her, but I have made it my business. I have made it intentional not to settle for mediocrity. No matter where I'm at in my life, no matter whether it was in construction, whether it was with being a social worker for the state where I lived at, whatever I was doing, I just felt like I always had something. I know there's something better inside of me. That in itself kept me pushing. I feel bad for the people out there who are still sitting down on their potential because when you know you got potential and you sitting on it, you're not doing nothing about it, you
Yeah.
build up a lot of bitterness. You put up a lot of resentment. You start looking at people. You start being mad at people waiting on them because they doing their thing and you trying to figure out why you can't do your thing. So I feel as time went on, as I began to overcome different hurdles, barriers in my life, it just continued to build my confidence. And I tell people all the time, confidence is not really about knowing it all. That's not confidence. Confidence is knowing that you're going to figure it out. You know what I mean? Knowing that you're going to be able to figure it out, knowing that you're going to be able to get to point A to point Z, regardless of what it looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is, many people struggle with self-doubt. They doubt themselves, right? What advice would you give someone trying to rediscover themselves? Like, were they trying to rediscover themselves as far as the doubt that they have in them? What advice would you give them?
Trying to rediscover yourself.
Yeah,
I
did
came
you
up with this framework. I
yeah,
came up with a framework called pause, reverse, drive, right?
okay.
And this is where you give yourself grace and where you find clarity. And we first have to understand we have to be really realistic with ourselves. You know what I mean? If you want to rebuild your life, if you want to give yourself another chance and you want to start to rebuild, we have to be honest.
Yeah.
We cannot fix what we cannot acknowledge is broken or where we're lacking at first and foremost. If we
Mm,
can't acknowledge where we need help at or where we might be lacking or where we weak or we might need to grow, then we're not going to be able to start that process of rebuilding because we're going to continuously be in denial. So I think one of the first steps into rebuilding is understanding where you need to rebuild that. What areas in your life need rebuilding? And that's being really looking in the mirror and just really being honest with yourself and just going from there. And with the pause, reverse, drive framework that I developed, that gives you the direction and the instruction on how to start to rebuild without feeling like you're left behind, without feeling like it's too late, without self-sabotaging, without feeling like I
mm,
can't do it. You know what I mean?
yes.
And again, no fluff. And I just came out with Pause Reverse Drive. I have an ebook on my website. It's $9.99. So y'all go, if you try to figure it out, you try to get some clarity and direction, go to my
Yes.
website, the Rebuild Your Life website, and download
Yeah.
it. Pause Reverse Drive.
And that's great. That's great because I wanted to make sure we get that at the end and put that in the show notes as well, where they can get that the ebook. So you talked about journaling. So how did journaling, planning, and reflection help in your growth process? I know you said you got a lot of journaling that you did.
Yes, yes. And it helps me in multiple ways. First and foremost, journaling is a way just to get your thoughts and your ideas down. The date stamp it. I love date stamp. I love the time stamp. I have journals that I had for over 10, 15 years, and it feels great to go back and look at those journals and look at stuff that you said you wanted to do and you really did it. It is such a fulfilling feeling just to be able to do that. But not only that, journaling and writing things down, like I said, that's what kept me focused. That's what kept me on track. That's what kept me together. That's what kept my time management. That's what kept my ideas organized. And still have to do it till this day. If I can't write it down, it's probably not going to happen. It's probably not
Mm.
going to happen. If I do not write it down, it's probably not going to happen or it's going to take forever to happen. When I write things down, then that's my plan of action. I have to write it down and then I execute after that.
I love that because actually, well, see, the calendar is my, I got to write in my calendar. I got to know what I'm doing here because there's so many
Yeah,
things going.
yes.
That is so
Journaling and
important.
planning.
So what role does mindset play in transformation?
Oh, mindset. Mindset is one of the main pillars of the Rebuild Your Life Breathe mindset because everything starts with mindset. A lot of self work. I do a lot of self work because that's just in me. I went to school for human service. I went back and got my master's degree in applied family science. I'm a certified family life educator. And if I could go back to school, I'd probably be a psychiatrist or in psychology because I love human behavior. I love behavior science because it helps me understand myself. I need to understand myself. I need to understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's very important to me. So when you say, why did you rebuild your life? Why do you have this? Because listen, I'm trying to live in my fullest potential. And one thing about life, one thing about rebuilding, one thing about reclaiming is having the proper mindset. Having the proper mindset will get you through any and everything. And when they say your mind is powerful, when they say the brain is powerful, that's just not something that sounds good. I tested out my brain. I tested my brain to see how I can get my brain to work for me. And it has worked in it has emotional intelligence, emotional stability, taking the negative and turning it into positives. And having the right mindset will also dictate how you're going to react. Having the right mindset is going to dictate where you are going to be in your life. Having the right mindset will set up the path for you to get to the next level if you have the right mindset. Because if you think you're either going to be a pessimist or an optimist, and it all
Mm.
depends on how you look at things. You know what I mean? When something doesn't work out well in your life, I do not have time to consume myself on why it did not work out. My mindset is going to say, listen, it wasn't meant for it to work out. And with that, I can gain sanity. It's less stress, it's less anxiety because I'm training my mindset to believe and think differently, to create and to control the narrative of my life and my emotions. So when you have the right mindset, you have the ability to control the narrative of your life, whether it's emotional or whether it's through actions. And when
Yeah,
you have control of your life, then I don't know what else. I don't know what more you can ask for when you can know how to control yourself. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? That's why like when you can control the things that you know how to control.
yeah,
Sometimes stuff we don't got control over, but when we can
yeah.
control the things that we can control, that's a blessing.
Absolutely. Girl, you wear so many hats. You're so many business owner, media personality, and mentor. How do you balance it all?
I ain't gonna say oh, we sorrow. That's the inside joke. That's the inside joke between me and this Wanda.
Yeah, that's right. We know
But
about Sora.
yeah. But it really takes a lot of time management. And one thing I haven't said to myself, right, it is a lot of work. It can be overwhelming. It could be very consuming. It could also be stressful. It could be exhausting. If I had to give up today, would I give it up? No, because I wouldn't be happy if I gave up everything that I do, because everything that I do is because I want to do it. I don't do nothing that I don't want to do right now. And that's a blessing in itself. Everything that I'm doing right now is because I want to do it. I no longer have to do what I have to do. And that's good. That's a blessing. But the journals, my planner, that's how I manage. And I also manage by prioritizing, understanding what's important and what's not so important. Also, understanding my capabilities and myself. Sometimes we will work and it's like, who are you trying to keep up with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Slow down. You do not have to knock all this stuff out the ballpark every single day, every single week, every single month. It's okay if you take a break. And
Yeah.
that's when we get back to mindset. That's when you get back to mindset and you say, hold on, what's going to happen if you don't get it done? What's going to
Yeah.
happen?
That's
But
true.
overall, I think everything has a balance. Everything has a priority. And sometimes it's okay when you have to pause on something and put it off until next month or the month after or the next quarter or next summer or next year. It is
Yeah.
okay. I think that we put too much pressure on ourselves sometimes.
I know you're right. And so my husband, he just told me, he said, "Wanda, stop and smell the roses." I said, "I am smelling the roses. I'm doing what I want to do." But you're right
Yeah.
about taking that deep breath. Just like when me and my partner decided to, okay, let's put off on the forgiveness retreat because we were going to do it rush. And said, no, let's put it out to this day here. And I felt a sense of peace.
Relief.
Yes, I
Yeah.
said, yeah, I don't have to do this right now. Let me get over what I'm doing now here. But that is so true. So what inspired you to open Jumping Jacks Learning Center?
So daycare centers run in my family. My mom had a child care center. Her sister and two of her sisters had a child care center. I had two cousins that had child care centers. But moreover, my mother and her two sisters, they had child care centers. So in my journey to figure out what I was going to do in my life, it's like, oh, Sharice, what are you going to do? And this was about, 2015, 16. And now I'm old enough to say, okay, I can deal with kids all day because you couldn't have told me in 1995 when my mom opened up her family daycare that I would own a daycare. Heck no, I don't want nothing to do with nobody's kids. But I've grown, I've grown, I've matured, and I'm
Yeah.
actually humbly proud of myself on where I came from, thinking about this child care center that I now have and my interactions and my dealings with the kids. But to make a long story short, it just runs in the family. My mom had one. I'm retiring my mom out. That was like the next best thing. It was either stay in construction or become an entrepreneur. And my mom had already laid the foundation. I had an empowerment program for girls already. So it was like, okay, you can do this. You're ready. And I did it.
That's
I go
awesome.
to that. Yeah.
That is awesome. Girl, yeah, we definitely gonna have to have you on my show again because it's so many other questions I want to ask you here. But now let's talk about what lessons has entrepreneurship taught you about resilience? And I think we were talking about that a little before.
Oh, I'm learning so much, Miss Wanda. I'm learning so much about entrepreneurship. And it definitely has its pros and it has its cons. And the pros is the pros, the flexibility, the financial freedom, being your own boss. Nobody can tell you what to do. Nobody can tell you how much money to make. You know what I mean? Those are the pros of entrepreneurship. But then you have the cons of entrepreneurship when you have to turn us to lead. I have to stay in professional mode a lot. I have to stay in professional mode. I have to handle my community leadership, basically. I have to stay in a position of leadership. And that's not really a time because I enjoyed that. But what will deal with people all day? When you deal with people, that's when I think it gets, for me, that's when entrepreneurship gets, it can get tricky.
Yeah.
It can get goofy a little bit when you're dealing with people, from different backgrounds, they come from different upbringing, and separating business. I'll just say, how about this? I'm gonna just leave it with that. Separating business. This working from a business mindset. This thing with that business mindset is definitely something that has taught me resilience because this is my business. And we ain't talking about me personally. This is my business. And when it's my business, it's a whole nother conversation. It's a whole nother conversation. It's a whole nother ballgame when we talk about business. And then when you start talking like that, and then everybody getting their feelings, everybody mad, everybody upset, everybody want to write a whole laundry list about what you ain't doing and what you need to do. But get out of here.
I tell you, when I left corporate, I did integrity is so important to me. People, it's like the integrity of people. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time.
I know that we got, we're going time limit, y'all, on time limit.
I know. So yeah, so no, definitely. Yeah, let's put that
We
on
should make
TV.
some of these shows an hour.
I know, right? I'm telling you, because there's so many questions I wanted to ask you,
Right.
but we got to meet. But now, how does your steel toes to stilettos platform inspire and empower others?
Okay, so bam, Still Toast to Stilettos is one of the platforms that which was another dream, always having my own podcast because I always wanted to. I like being on TV. I like being in front of the camera, whether it's taking pictures, whether it's hosting, whether it's talking. And that's what I do. Motivational speaking. That's what I do. So I always wanted to have this podcast, but everything that I have to do has to have a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
So Steel Toes represents the construction. It represents. It's a literal and figural title because it represents the figurative meaning of steel toes to stilettos. Because I was out there in the muck, I was out there getting dirty, y'all. And now I don't gotta do that no more. But it also represents the stories that other people have as well, from tragedy to triumph. It is a couch. My platform is where people could come tell their stories of liberation, of how they overcame, how they came through, how they started from the bottom and now they're here, and how they have fought from grit to grace. So Still Toes to Stilettos was, of course, a platform for people to come tell their story, for them to be inspired, because I love that. But the title, of course, came from my own personal background. Still Toes to Stilettos, y'all.
Yeah. I got to
But
come
it's
on
a
the
couch. It's a
podcast.
comment couch. It's a platform for people to
Yeah.
come feel inspired, for them to be inspired. We have all type of stories on the podcast. It's just me continuing. I feel like my God-given purpose to create platforms for people to tell their story.
I
We got
love it.
people right in our backyard who are really, we see them every day with big smiles on their face, and we have no clue what they're going through.
Have no clue. And I was saying, I got to come on your podcast because I got a story. Because I thought my book, God's Space Through the Fire from Struggle to Triumph, I struggled going through abuse and I was able to triumph to who I am today.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And then forgiveness. It's just a lot of things. And in fact, our new collaboration is overcoming. Every time you talk about overcoming, we all overcome a situation if we want to actually do something about it. Not get stuck, like you said, get stuck and just
exactly.
feel sorry
Some
for
of us don't
yourself
do nothing, but then there's some of us who get up and do something about
and
it.
do something about it. See, and that's all God's will. That's why I said we're all godly. We are a lot alike, and that's why we're social workers to help people out here.
Yeah, exactly,
So,
exactly. Yes.
no, listen, girl, we got it. So I'm gonna ask you one more question because
Okay.
we can keep this going here. If someone listening today feels broken or stuck, what message would you want them to hear from you?
If someone today feels broken or stuck, I understand. I understand because today, with media, with social media and all of the outlets, it is very hard to get that imposter syndrome. It's very hard to feel like you're not doing enough, right? But when you start feeling like that is your time, that is your moment again for you to go look in the mirror and go back and see those dreams that you left on the back burner, because what's for you is for you and what's for them is for them. And that's what you have to understand. If you find your own passion and purpose, there will be no need to worry about what no one else is doing. And why are you stuck? Let's get to the root of the issues. Why are you stuck? Why are you stagnated? What is holding you back? People want this microwave success. People want the results to happen overnight, but we have to put the work in, but we got to start. We got to start, right? So for anybody who is stuck, anybody who feels like they are stagnated, I need you to pause. I need you to pause and sit and figure out, just breathe, right? Just breathe, pause, and take a breath and breathe and reverse. And see what was not working. What is not working in your life versus what can work, right? And figure out the clarity, figure out the direction, figure out the self-work that you need to do. I'm saying it's coming out of my mouth very easily. So I know this is easier said than done, but this is your life. What do you want for your life? Or you want to keep sitting there watching everybody else drive, pause, reverse, drive? If you are stuck, why are you stuck? Because there's so many reasons why someone could be stuck. It's all very much circumstantial. It could be healing, it could be family, it could be career, it could be childhood trauma, it could be a lot of things why you stuck. But we got to figure out why you stuck first. We got to deal with the issues. We got to deal with the root of the problem first.
Yep. And that's healing. That's about
Healing.
healing. You got to heal. You got to heal yourself. So no, that is so true. So what's next for Cheris Monique in the Rebuild Your Life movement?
So I had to pause reverse drive. That's how I even created this framework, pause reverse drive, because Miss Wanda, I was at a point where my passion was turning exhausting because I felt like I was doing a lot. And I had these expectations that I was trying to meet and I couldn't get there. And because I couldn't get there, it was burning me out. And then I had to pause myself and say, hold on, Cherise, relax. Calm down. It's okay. Right. So I did the pause reverse drive. So now I am in the space where I'm just cruising. I'm just driving along, letting God do his thing, letting the learning come in and
Yeah.
do his thing. And I'm just waiting to see what God has for me next. I don't know. I don't even want to listen to the sermon. And it was like, you can go ahead and plan. Go ahead and plan. It's okay to plan, but in your planning, don't get too prideful. Don't let your ego go too big, because you can't plan without God, right? You can't plan and not include him on your plans. So while I have these visions of just continuing to connect with more people like you, to be to come on more platforms, maybe more speaking engagements, or maybe even coming and doing some retreats, doing some more motivational speaking. That's what I see for myself. Getting out from behind the computer. I feel like I'm always behind the camera. I want to be in the physical sense now. You can always catch me on the podcast. You can always catch me on social media. Now I want to be in the present. And I want to be in the presence of flying globally, internationally, but I'm gonna
Okay.
let God do his thing. I'm gonna let God do his thing.
Exactly. I love that because actually my favorite verse when I left corporate is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know God has plans for me, plans for prosperity, to give me hope and a future. So
Yes,
we
God,
both
amen.
have a future. 2026 is going to be our year. I'm seeing him doing so many things in my life, and I can see that for you.
Thank
What
you.
he planned on us to do to share more of ourselves and how we can help others.
Yeah.
But I love it. So listen, Sharice, thank you so much for sharing your incredible story and wisdom with us today. It was just breathtaking, really, from steel toes to stilettos. I'm excited.
Well,
I'm
thank you, Mr.
excited.
Bonda. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, but your journey is a beautiful reminder that rebuilding is possible. Transformation is real. It is real, and confidence can be restored no matter what life throws
Yes.
our way. I say our way, your way out.
Our way, yes.
That's right.
Yes, we are in this together.
Yes, exactly. So tell the audience how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, so guys, you can reach me on my social media platforms. Instagram, I am Cheris Monique, and that is Cheris with a C, Cheris Monique. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I have a website. I am CherisMonique.com. And then I have the Rebuild Your Life by Cheris Monique. So that is RBYL by CherisMonique.com. That website is where you can go purchase my planner, my journal. You can also download the ebook for Paul's Reverse Drive. And like I said, the planner is for day, keeps you on track. And it's not just, it's a lot of coaching material here. It's vision boards, it's back burner dreams, it's things that really it makes you intentional. And the journal does too. And then you can also, like I said, download the Pause Reverse Drive framework, which, like I said, will give you clarity and grace because we are so hard on ourselves. But that's not where we at right now. We're going to give ourselves grace and we want clarity. So when we move forward, we can move with direction and purpose. A lot of us are moving around, but we ain't making no moves. We moving, we busy, but we ain't doing that.
Right.
But we want to
Right.
get rid of that, especially those of us who know that we have God-given potential, we have God-given purpose, and we sitting on it. We want to get up, we want to put that fire up under our butt. So I gave you my Instagrams, I gave you my websites. Also have the Steel Toes to Stilettos on Instagram, which is the real Steel Toes to Stilettos. That's on Instagram. That's on YouTube, Amazon, Spotify, my podcast. Yeah. Yeah, y'all think that's where you go find me. I'm always on social media. I'm always on Instagram.
I am going to put all of that in the show notes so they can get in touch with you. And you
Yes,
sent that to me, but no, thank you. Thank you so much for being on this podcast, Ready, Set, Collaborate podcast. So, audience, make sure you like, share, and follow WD Pearson Associates, Ready, Set, Collaborate, and also Cherise. We want to make sure that you connect and and make sure you come on there. She got a lot to offer, y'all. So let's do this. But no,
I'm
thank
here
you.
for y'all.
Yes, absolutely. But no, thank you again for being on the show.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed my time talking with you. It was such an opportunity, such a blessing. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So make sure you actually subscribe because that's how you're going to follow all the different podcasts that I have on Ready Set Collaborate podcast. Also on my brand, WD Pearson Associates, you can find all the podcasts that I do. So until next time, let's follow each other's wisdom that we are sharing here to be able to rebuild, transform your life. Thanks again, Cherise. Appreciate you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
A special thank you to our sponsor, WD Pearson Associates, for supporting this episode. Through coaching, consulting, Legal Shield, ID Shield, and business empowerment services, WD Pearson Associates helps individuals and entrepreneurs rebuild, protect, and grow with confidence and purpose. To learn more, connect with Wanda Pearson and WD Pearson Associates online and continue your journey toward transformation and success. That wraps up another episode of Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights to help you build meaningful connections and successful collaborations. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more great discussions. Until next time, keep collaborating and making an impact.